Really excited to be here. My name is Eric Bednash, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of RackTop. And just a little bit about my background, because it's relevant to hear what we're doing at RackTop. My background's in the DoD, national intelligence space, on the cyber side of things and on the data side of things. So I've always sort of had one foot in each camp and always been exposed to situations where both data, large data, and security were very important topics. And it's relevant because it's sort of, that experience is woven into the DNA of the company. It's woven into the product we create here at RackTop, and it's woven into the mission we're solving. But today's not about me, of course. Today's about this guy, and this is data. And so about 70, 80, 90% of any organization's data is unstructured data, right? Of course, storage field data, we all know that. And over the next 3 years, data is going to continue to grow. So just like the gremlins, it's going to continue to grow exponentially. So not only do we have this massive data problem that we're facing, right? Think of the last 30 years worth of data tripling, right? That's a lot. But we also have this guy, and this is the bad guy. And we've seen over the last year, 2 years, 3 years, this guy doing more and more damage, specifically how it relates to data in the form of ransomware. And over the next decade, we're going to see $256 billion worth of damage because of ransomware. So we have a growing data problem, we have a growing security problem, and more importantly, a growing data security problem. So you may be saying, okay, I get the data problem. We're storage people. Why is the security problem? Why is this my problem, right? It kind of sounds like a network security thing. And as a storage professional, why should I care, right? I think it's a valid question. Well, the answer is the bad guys steal the data, they don't steal the network. And if you think about sort of the data storage market and the cybersecurity market, they both grew up at the same time, right? They kind of grew up in parallel, but separate. And in the cyber world, we've been solving what I like to call like doors and windows problems, right? Lock the doors, lock the windows, keep the bad guys out. The data's inside, everything's okay. Well, we clearly know that that is not the case anymore. The bad guys are in, we have to act like the bad guys are in, but yet we have these massive data storage repositories that are largely unprotected. And that's really why Cyberstorage exists. And so Cyberstorage, which you're going to hear about today, my colleagues Jonathan and Dave, are going to talk more in detail about how Cyberstorage is not only going to solve this massive data problem that we have, that we're facing, but it's also going to solve this security problem. And just quickly, what is Cyberstorage? Well, it's high performance storage, high performance NAS. It's what we're all familiar with, but it's fused with active security protections so that not only can we deliver the utility storage capabilities that we all know and love, but we can also detect and stop anomalous behavior from damaging that data. And so before you start thinking like, don't we solve ransomware with backups? I just want to touch on one thing. There are 5 functional areas to the NIST cybersecurity framework, right? So it's identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Backups are just recover. So that's only one of the 5 functional areas. In order to actually address this issue from a security perspective, we need to address all 5. I like to bucket these 5 down into sort of 3 subsections, and those are before, during, and after attack. You're always in one of these phases, right? It's either before an attack and everything's okay. It's either during an attack and bad things are happening, or it's after where you're cleaning up the mess. If we're only focused on backups as a form of ransomware protection or recovery, we're only focused on cleaning up the mess, and we're really not going to be able to address this issue. So we actually have to address all 5 of these things, all 3 of these phases, in order to properly address this issue. And so before I hand it over to Jonathan, today you're going to hear about Brickstore Security Platform, which is what RackTop has brought to market to actually solve these 2 major problems in a converged manner, in a cyber storage manner. And really our vision is so that any organization can protect their data as if it were a national secret.
Eric, you mentioned that anybody can protect their data like a national security entity. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
And this is because, let's say, RackTop is being used by 3-letter agencies?
It's because the technology goes to the lengths to protect your data as if a organization that was solely focused on security were watching it. So the technology we put into our product is paying attention to what's happening, not just protecting the data, but paying attention to how the data is being accessed and who's doing what with the data and how it's being used, and understanding what is good from bad. And that is what we do to enable any organization to protect their data. As if that secret were so important, if that data were so important, all of that technology is buried into the product to help them solve that without a team of security engineers, so that storage folks who are used to dealing with storage problems can solve a security problem for the next 10 years.